Sunday morning, everywhere's quiet. Thank you. Got my hand sanitizer. It's a new reality, man. New reality.
It's Sunday morning, and it has been 1 week since Lagos officially went into a lockdown. On Sunday mornings like this, I'll be heading to church, just like millions of other Lagosians. But not today. Churches are closed and everyone is at home. So what happens when you cannot go to church on Sunday because there's a lockdown? Where else can you go?
The name of Jesus, I love the name, Alpha and Omega, no other name like Him. Growing up, I spent most of my life worshiping at home. So I'm already used to that, staying at home and worship. For me, it's not so different, it's just strange. Normally, it's not quiet. You have cars lined up because there's two churches on my street. But now it's quiet, it's boring, everybody's indoors. It's killing us some.
According to the World Factbook, 49% of Nigerians are Christians. That's 98 million people that belong to one Christian denomination or the other. And most of these people can be found in church on any given Sunday. Some go when they're happy, some go when they're sad, and some go only when they have sins to confess. But it is in times of crisis, just like what the world is currently going through, that many go to church to look for answers. So what happens when you cannot go to church on Sunday to find God?
Not everybody is used to the virtual world, and so not everybody is going to sit in front of a laptop or a phone trying to find God through their pastor online. So I think people would find God within themselves.
As I listened, I could not help but wonder if Suzette would have had this much conviction if she hadn't already been a virtual worshiper most of her adult life. I felt I needed to speak to someone with a totally different worship experience.
So I'm going to interview my sister-in-law, who is a deaconess in a big church.
Auntie Julie, as she's fondly called, is a devout Christian and church worker. Every Sunday, she leaves her home in Ijeshatedo by 6 a.m. to go to church in Akute, Ogun State. So I was curious to see how she was handling the lockdown.
There is no only us the Lord. I'm not happy at all. I'm supposed to be in my duty. I love it. I don't like being alone, though I love worshiping with my family. That one is different from obeying God and serving God.
Yet, here she was, stuck in her living room, compelled to worship God via a screen. I asked her if the vibe was different.
When we come together like this physically, there are advantages that it do. Of course, it also builds that bond, that oneness.
Even though if you want to ask question,
which you cannot get. Okay, for example, you want to ask
what question? Like on Tuesday Bible study.
Or even during Sunday school.
You can't ask from the medium.
Or you can ask on WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, but then you just go by how
many questions? You are eating your data. So, yes, nah, you are eating your data.
So I guess the vibe in church is different from the vibe at home.
God is not in a building. There is no building that God resides in. God is in us. The presence of God is always with us, whether we are in a building called church, or we are in a market, or we are. That is why we are supposed to be conscious of His presence always.
So, if God can be found within us, why then does it seem like we're so fixated on raising mega structures as places of worship, when we could be building the churches within us?
God specifically asked Solomon to build a house for him. It's just that most of the time we tend to even give more importance to the building than the relationship we have with God. This time that we are in gives us opportunity to reassess our priority. It is good to have a building. It is good to have a large number of congregation. But the most important thing is, what do we go there to do?
Times like this raise many questions in our hearts. Questions like, where is God? Why is this happening to us at this time? And what is the role of the church in providing comfort for the needy and the most vulnerable? This is a time when there is urgent need for relief. And for a country that is ranked amongst the most religious in the world, the silence of the church is deafening.
The problem is that many of these pastors actually see those churches as their personal investment, as their personal property. So it's so unfortunate, because this is actually the time that the church is supposed to rise up. But we've not heard from any of them.
Apart from a few isolated cases of support, the much that some of us have heard are prophecies that did not happen in March, COVID-19 healing formulas that were given out on April Fool's Day, and words of encouragement to keep paying our tithes and offerings online. It's interesting how this pandemic has made the material so immaterial. Church auditoriums are now empty of crowds, and people's wardrobes are now full of clothes and jewelry that cannot be worn. Sort of makes you wonder, what is really important?
At a time like this, what helps you, it is your relationship with God, not your relationship with church.
Church, yeah.
Fellowshipping with other brethren is important. Gathering in a building is important. But the most important is our individual relationship, our personal relationship with God. Because it is the God you know that will come to your aid when in troubles time like this.
These are indeed interesting times, unlike anything we have ever witnessed. But I think it gives us all an opportunity to rethink and reset our priorities. God does not live in a building, no matter how big or grand, nor does he dwell in the midst of any particular denomination. He belongs to us, just as we all belong to him. And in this time of great crisis, when church doors have been shut and pastors' lines are unreachable, when many are desperately asking, God, where are you, and what can I learn from this? We may just have to dust our Bibles or download that app and go seek him for ourselves.